The following is a live sports event featuring the Abernathy Antelopes or Lady Lopes. This broadcast is a presentation of the Abernathy Sports Network and may not be altered or used in its entirety without the written consent from the Abernathy Sports Network. Today's broadcast is made possible by the fine supporters: MC Master Roofing and Construction, South Plains Auto Ranch, Clark Riley Insurance, April Funeral Home and Flower Shop, First Baptist Church, JC's Refrigeration, Storm Guard, Plains Land Bank, Nutrient Ag Solutions, the Junkin Farmers Market, MZJ Variety Shop, Shallowater, Rooted Revival Hair Salon, Chance Rocha, Edward Jones Financial Advisor, Code 3 Soda Shop and Meat Market, Lasso Electric, Webb Vision Center, Hill Vet, WTX Diesel, West Texas Brick and Stone, Rural Roots Medical Clinic, the Farmers Cooperative Compress, First State Bank, DB Media, Ty Horsford Realtor. Again, thank you for tuning in tonight's live sports event. It will begin shortly.
Quarter. There's an empty backfield looking to throw. Wiley swings it out over to the far side. Lots of room. 10-5 touchdown. Coming up. There's the snap. Another handoff underneath. And the first one there behind the line of scrimmage is number 50, Dyson Garcia. Sideline. Faking that. That's actually the snap to Micheletti. Micheletti takes off. He may have his second touchdown of the night. And he does! Colt Micheletti from 28 yards. Highly three-receiver set. There's Rolando in motion. He gets the pick, and he hits the hole hard. He's into the red zone. He's carrying tacklers. He's Superman into the end zone. Rolando Martinez on the second. And good evening, Abernathy, Texas, and good evening, fans of the Abernathy Antelopes and Lady Lopes, as another episode of Outside the Box coming your way tonight, live on location, as Ty Horsford alongside Chance Rocha. We are here at Code 3 Soda Shop and Meat Market in Abernathy, Texas, America, for episode 9, season 2 of Outside the Box, as we've got another home game this week for the Antelopes, as the New Deal Lions make the short trek down I-27 to battle the Antelopes. It was a tough road to hoe on Friday night for Abernathy. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, as they fell short to the New Home Leopards in the district opener. Chance. But before we get to football and probably our favorite part of the program, where we nerd out a little bit, we will kind of jump into our look around AISD. But how you doing tonight, Chance?
Doing good. Got my lovely drink from Code 3, as always, and just enjoying a wonderful day, a wonderful Wednesday here in Abernathy, Texas.
Yep, a beautiful day, and already hump day. Hard to believe. Kids were out of school on Monday, and kind of makes for a quick week, but we are glad that you are with us. If you want to come join us live, we will be at Code 3 tonight until 7 o'clock. Come get you a fresh sandwich, beverage of your choice, farm fresh salad, whatever you like. They can fix you up here at Code 3, one of our title sponsors on Outside the Box and the Abernathy Sports Network this year. But Chance, let's go ahead and jump in tonight, as it is fall, all the things going on, and the Antelope Allies, which, if you're not familiar with that, it is kind of the school's version of the PTA, if you will, kind of organized by parents to support the teachers, the admin, the students of our elementary school. And the Abernathy Allies hosted, I believe, the second annual Fall Festival at Abernathy Elementary last night. I know you and I both took our families to that, and it was complete. They had food trucks, carnival games, train rides, all sorts of things, and all proceeds raised from that event obviously go to support 100% the faculty and the admin of Abernathy Elementary. And it was a good time had by all, and it was a beautiful night and a solid event.
Yeah, fun little event. A ton of people went out, to raise money, like you said, for the Antelope Allies. Give that money back to the teachers, support the teachers and all the things they do. Bounce houses, even had the superintendent out there getting pied in the face, and just everybody out there having a fun time. My kids, when we ended up leaving, they didn't want to go. They didn't want to go, but we kind of told them, hey, it was wrapping up. It was from 6 to 8 last night, and big turnout and a super cool event that they put on for sure.
And obviously, Chance, it was for the elementary school, but shout out to 10 or 12 high school students that were out there kind of running the different stations and the different carnival games and different things they had. Again, it just continues. We talk about it every single week, but it continues to speak to the community and the unity we have here in Abernathy. So great fall festival last night, Chance. And then on Friday, just a note for all you kindergarten parents, they're going to be having the kindergarten donuts with grown-ups at the elementary school, 7:20 to 7:50, I believe, before school starts. Parents, grandparents, whoever would love, the elementary staff would love for you to come have breakfast on the school with your kindergarten, just kindergarten.
They have a sibling.
Little antelope. There you go. So definitely take advantage of that if you've got a kindergartner, no doubt about that, Chance. And that'll be, they do that really for every grade at different points kind of throughout the year. And so it's kindergartners up this week.
Yep, kindergartners up this week. I know that for sure. And all the things happening. On top of that, Ty, you also have this Friday as well is going to be the Adopt-A-Lope Tunnel Run. So prior to the game, if you have an antelope buddy, you get to run out the tunnel with the football team, and I know that's something fun. My son looks forward to it every year. This will be my daughter's first year that she's able to do that, and so I think that's going to be an exciting thing. It's always crazy to see all those kids out there on the field, but just see how excited they are, and they get to be out there on the field with those their antelope buddies and just have a fun time doing that too as well.
I like to say it's organized chaos.
It is. Organized chaos on top of, that's going to happen. And then I believe the pep rally this week is the blackout pep rally. And
I think you're right.
Lots of glow sticks, lots of different glow costumes that are going to be out there. So it's going to be a fun Friday for sure.
And speaking of the blackout pep rally, Chance, Halloween is upon us, October 31st. And oddly enough, it falls on a football Friday here in Abernathy, Texas, America. It'll be a home game.
I'm okay with that.
You and me both. You know what? Anything. I know I'm going to make some enemies for this, but I am not a fan of Halloween. I never have been, probably never will be. And so if on Halloween night I get to be in the booth with you calling some antelope football, I consider that a win.
Yeah, sounds like fun to me.
But the Booster Club wants to make sure that your kiddos are taken care of that night. So don't just skip the football game and go trick-or-treating. There will be opportunities that the Booster Club will provide. I think they're going to have a costume parade. They're going to do some trick-or-treating during the ball game. Obviously, kiddos can wear, or adults, if you choose, can wear your Halloween costume, and it'll be a fun Friday night. And I believe that's senior night also for the Abernathy Antelopes as they take on the Holton Mustangs. And so go to... usually it is. I haven't seen it. The trunk or treat, community trunk or treat will probably be on Wednesday before. So go enjoy that and then come out, cheer on the Lopes, and take in some Halloween fun. Thanks to the Booster Club on Friday night, the October 31st.
Yep. So those are things that are coming up. And Ty, we also, we kind of talk about all the things that are happening in the community. I know you being a board member, you had some pretty fun board recognitions this past board meeting, and I know that's something that they've kind of done it before, but it's more on a consistent basis. As of late, the elementary, they recognize Esmeralda Garcia. They recognize her for growth in her map testing. She scored in the 99th percentile nationally on all three tests, and so that's the only one of the elementary campus to do that. And then also they recognize Miss Nurse Tanya May. I know all the kiddos just rave about her. Tanya's great. She does a great job with all those kiddos, and she's been a nurse here at Abernathy for a long time.
And, that's one thing that Mr. Hill, our new superintendent, is doing. He is asking each campus principal to nominate a student or students and a faculty member to be recognized each month at our board meetings, and just celebrate the job that they do, recognize the job that they do. I think that's a really cool thing that they get to be a part of. And then on our middle school campus, or for our middle school at the board meeting, Skylar Gentry and Brayley Garcia, they were recognized for their cross-country achievements at the junior high level, as they both competed at a very high level the week or so before that, and placed high at the district junior high meet. And then on the staff side, in the middle school, Miss Karen Nick, as Miss Nick is our middle school counselor, and I know Miss Hart just kind of spoke to, obviously she does the counseling side of things,
right,
but she does so much more. She's been there a long time. She really supports those students. She supports the Miss Hart and Mr. Fortune, Coach Fortune, the principal and AP of that campus, and she is just constantly, and she's one of the big masterminds too. We've been talking a lot about getting the middle school students in the community, volunteering and community support. She's kind of the mastermind behind all that as well.
Yeah, she is. Karen Nick does a great job with all that, making sure those middle schoolers get exposed and doing those volunteer opportunities. She's also in charge of the junior high cheer. She steps up and does that. And then also just getting those 8th graders prepared. I know last year, my 8th grader, when she had to do all her prep with the setting a schedule and figuring those things out, she helps with that transition between middle school and high school. So just a great job that she does at the middle school level.
I have to share this quick story because it was funny that Miss Hart shared herself at the board meeting. She said, we had a new student that came in, and there was going to have to be something she was going to have to get up in front of the class and do and present. And she just kind of fell apart. It was a big deal.
Right.
There were reasons that she wasn't comfortable with it. She went to Miss Hart, and Miss Hart, in her tough love way, she said, she goes, well, you just have to do it.
Yeah.
But she brought Miss Nick in, and Miss Nick, she also said you have to do it, but she coached her through how to do it. And so I thought that was a good example that Miss Hart gave at the board meeting for sure.
Yeah, just setting that example, and just kind of, when we talked to her last year about a lot of the different stuff that she does, it's just great to have someone on that junior high campus that, that's a tough age.
Mm-hmm.
That junior high age is a tough age, and it's tough years. They're just learning how to balance the academics and sports and all the things that are happening. So kudos to Miss Nick. I know she does a great job on that junior high campus, Ty. And then at the high school level, you had Lacey Blasquez and Amy Easterwood were both recognized for their leadership at our high school campus this year. And also Bree Spear was recognized for her work as leading the health and science curriculum and practicum. She's, partners, but she has that new curriculum that she's doing on that health sciences side. So it's been a great addition to have her at the high school campus as well.
Yeah, and I think she's already taken a group of students they were talking about to Lubbock, to the hospital. They spent a day, and Mr. Albright, I laughed at him, said some of the students came back and they said, did you see some blood and guts? And the student goes, yeah, we did. And so very matter-of-factly. And so anyways, just cool opportunities for our students, absolutely. And he specifically, as far as Lacey and Emmy are concerned, obviously there's been a lot of difficult things happen in the high school with injuries on the football field and that have kind of bled over into the community, into the school. And he just spoke to Lacey and Emmy's kind of leadership through some of that, and how important of an asset they were as leaders on the campus. And so thought that was neat, and I love those part of the board meetings for sure.
Awesome. So Ty, kind of transitioning at the middle school this past week, the construction and design students designed and sewed some mini quilts, and that's something that is kind of a new thing that they're doing, and they're working on some hand embroidering and some quilt blocks, and just another opportunity for those kids to learn like real world skills. That's something that with the technology and everything that you have, that's not a lot of things that you see. So I think that's a pretty cool thing that they're doing to kind of teach those kids some of those different skills that aren't so technologically savvy, and kind of give you some different experience in some different areas. Back
in 2004, I played ping pong in the ag shop, and here these kids are sewing quilts and doing practicums and doing all the things. And so that's impressive
for sure.
For sure, they're definitely not playing ping pong in the ag shop. Elementary UIL will be December the 3rd, and middle school UIL will be December the 4th this year. Both our elementary campus and our middle school campus are hosting those events or hosting those competitions. And so both of those days, the 3rd for the elementary only, the 4th for the middle school only, there will not be school on those campuses that day. They are hosting the UIL event, or all the district UIL. And Chance, I think that's just a cool testament, and we do that almost every single year. We're the school in the district with the facilities and the space and it's willing to do what it takes to host an event like that. It's not an easy feat. Well, you got a lot of people on your campus, and Abernathy always steps up and does a great job.
We're just stepping it up, and it starts with the admins and the teachers being willing to do that. And then also just having that opportunity to have that event. You have it to where, parents aren't having to drive to take their kids for those things because, like you said, they're going to be out of school for certain things. But also, Ty, we talked about it last year when we had the results. I think Abernathy's going to be coming for them this year. I know New Home did a great job last year and kind of sweeping a lot of the events, so I bet that was kind of some motivation this year to say, hey, we're hosting. Let's go out there and try to win some of those UIL events at the elementary and middle school level.
And obviously, we'll kind of let you know how those things turn out as we get closer to those. One thing that we just approved a change at the recent board meeting, Chance. Graduation, high school graduation, was originally set on Friday, May the 15th. That is now Saturday, May the 16th at 7 p.m. in the high school gym. That change, they wanted to go ahead and make it in anticipation of some parents, some kiddos that might be affected being at the state track and field meet.
We hope that's the case.
We hope that's the case. And so just to avoid those guys missing out on graduation, bumping it back a day so that everybody can be there. So if you're making plans for that, graduation will be 7 p.m. Saturday, May the 16th.
Gotcha, Ty. And it came up on us quick. The Antelope Band, they competed this past week at Lowry in the Westerner competition, and they did a great job. They will compete this Saturday, 10:45 at Lowry again, and this is the UIL competition, so they'll perform that morning. I believe if they advance, they'll go on and probably perform again that evening in hopes to advance to the area marching contest, which will be the following Saturday, I believe, in Amarillo. So good luck to the Antelope Band, and I know they put on a great show. Their Pure Imagination show this year is an awesome one, so good luck to them, and hopefully they advance on to area.
If you like props and color and fun, go watch the band.
It is.
They do a great job, and it's a very entertaining show. And so that kind of wraps up the first section of our show this evening, live tonight from Code 3. I would love for you to come enjoy dinner, come say hi, give us a high five, give us a fist bump here at Code 3 tonight. We'll be here until 7 o'clock. But let's take a quick time out as our show rolls on after the break, and we will switch gears a little bit and take a look at this week in sports around Abernathy, Texas. Something new has taken Abernathy by storm. Code 3 Soda Shop and Meat Market is locally owned by first responders and offers fresh salad and deli options for lunch or dinner, any drink combination under the sun, and the freshest beef around. We are open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday and are ready to serve you. We are a faith and family first business and are proud supporters of our Antelopes and Lady Lopes, as well as a title sponsor on this broadcast. Come see us in the Red Barn on the north end of town.
Rooted Bible is your local faith-based salon that is rooted in Christ and built on community. A fresh, peaceful space for everyday hair, confidence, and connection. Whether it's a kid's cut, a men's trim, or a full highlight, stylist Hannah Rocha and Sierra Contreras can take care of you. With a heart for people and a passion for purpose, they are proud to serve the community of Abernathy and West Texas. You can find them on Facebook or stop by and see them at 203 Avenue D in Abernathy to schedule your next appointment.
As welcome back to Code 3 here tonight as we hit the second segment of our show this week in sports. Thanks to Code 3 for hosting us tonight, and they've got a fun contest going on here, Chance. It is rivalry week between the Abernathy Antelopes and the New Deal Lions. Obviously, New Deal just 5 minutes down the road, so lots of New Deal people come take in Code 3. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
It's better than anywhere they could go in Lubbock.
That is very true.
And so they are doing a fun contest here. They've got a drink that represents a green drink that represents New Deal, a drink that represents Abernathy. You can come in and buy one of those drinks in support of whichever school you choose. Your name goes in a bucket. You draw out of that bucket. Whichever bucket has more tickets in it at the end of the contest on Friday, they'll draw. The winner will actually get a steak meat basket or a steak basket box here that Code 3 sells, and it's some really, really good high-end beef.
Yep.
And also half the money they raise, they are donating. Code 3 is donating back to the Boone Effect, the Julian Boone Effect, to support families who are trying to adopt children. And so just a great cause and a fun way to support that Abernathy New Deal rivalry.
Yeah, for sure. A good way to support that rivalry tie and a good way just to give back to that foundation. I know Boone was a great little dude. I know both of us, he was in our kiddos' grade, and it's just anytime we talk about it, it doesn't get easier, but that's a great way for Code 3 and both communities to be able to give back to that foundation and also, like you said, have a little competition.
As we jump into this week in sports, Chance, we've got a lot to talk about, as we do every week. Cross country, they did not run this last week. They are in preparations for the regional cross country meet that is coming up on Tuesday, October 21st, right back at May Simmons Park in Lubbock, Texas. The girls will run at 12. The boys will run at 12:30. The entire girls team qualified as a team to compete at the regional level. So the entire girls team on the varsity side will be there. Kingston Offal on the boys side, he qualified for regionals as an individual runner, and so he will run representing the Antelopes. But again, that is Tuesday, October 21st. That will be at May Simmons Park. And I bet before the next few weeks, I bet we can get Coach Carlisle in on our show to talk about just another successful campaign for her cross-country runners.
Hopefully we get her in. We're talking about some cross-country runners competing at the state level.
Absolutely.
That girls team tie, they finished, they had a lot. I think they had 2 or 3 girls finish in the top 10, and they finished back-to-back 1 and 2. So they got a good opportunity possibly to advance. And then Kingston Offhill, he definitely to be a freshman, he was hungry. He got second overall at district, and I think he was beat by the lone New Deal Lion. And so I think he's got there hungry, and he wants to go for that title and the opportunity to compete at state as a freshman. So
absolutely. Chance, on the volleyball side, kind of a mixed bag of tricks as far as results are concerned. At the junior high level, the 7th grade actually lost. They're kind of on a little bit of a losing streak after a very hot start to the season, but they lost this last Monday night, while the 8th grade notched a victory against the Ropes Lady Eagles, and both teams will be battling post on Monday night. JV and varsity, they both dropped matches to Ropes last night, and that was one for the varsity girls' chance. If they wanted to advance to the postseason, that's when they really, really needed to win. But I think it was a tough night in the gym for the Lady Lopes last night, because they also lost to Olton on Saturday. The varsity did in 4 sets, and so it's kind of continues to be some growing pains for the varsity team. They've taken a step forward this year. They've won some district games. They may miss out on the playoffs, although they've got a couple of winnable matches coming up in the next week against Post and Tahoka, 2 teams they've actually already beaten this year. So we'll see how those play out. But that's kind of what volleyball looked like this past week.
Yep, and like you said, they looks like they're going to host Post on Tuesday and hopes to get back in the win column. So go out there and support those Lady Lope volleyballers this next Tuesday, Ty. And sub-varsity, similar to
it was
varsity.
A clean sweep for the New Home Leopards.
It was. 7th grade lost. They went to New Home and lost 35-0. A tough slate there. 8th grade was able to get on the scoreboard, but they dropped it 34-6 to New Home, and then JV lost here at home. A tough fought battle. It was close. They came back. It was 7-14, I believe, and then New Home ended up kind of jumping back ahead and made it 21, and then we tried an onside kick and just weren't able to get back within it. And so the JV lost as well, but it was a hard fought battle for the JV team, Ty. And then Oh, man, Friday night.
We'll talk about it because that's what we do. But it was a tough night all the way around for the Abernathy Antelopes on Friday. A highly anticipated matchup with the New Home Leopards to open district play chance, and it just did not go the way that we had hoped on Friday night. As putting it mildly, the Leopards were dominant. They outgained the Antelopes 397 to 216 in total offense, and route to a 39-0 shutout win over the Antelopes chance. And we were talking about it on the broadcast. The Antelopes don't get beat down like that very often, and so it was very much an unusual feeling on Friday night.
It definitely was. And, we looked back, Ty, and I believe the last shutout, and to kind of talk about it, was when you get beat by Muleshoe. It was like 43-0, I believe, and that was at home, and you take that drumming. But then you came back and you rallied during district play, and you ended up going to the playoffs still. But that was the last time that Abernathy was shut out. And so, not that you want that to happen, but silver linings. You went home with everybody that you took. That's the first away game. And that sounds crazy, but that was the first away game that every player that rode the bus came back home with you.
They weren't all healthy, though.
They weren't all healthy. You're bit by the injury bug again. Ryan Hillis took the smallest injury. It looked like it was a high ankle sprain, lower leg injury. He's likely to play Friday. Going to be dinged up, but he's going to be playing. You lose Jagger Wiley right before the end of the second quarter. And so he doesn't finish the game, had some shoulder injury, and then you lose Braylon Stafford, and his was right off the bat, they knew what it was, fractured broken wrist, and so you lose him for the game.
And that's your starting running back, which was the backup running back because Colt Micheletti is out.
Yep.
It was your starting quarterback, and Colt Micheletti was your backup quarterback, so that knocked you to your third string, which you really didn't have.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, Ryan Hillis on the line. He's a staple in the middle. He leads your team in tackles. And so, obviously, you're not making excuses, Chance, but by the time the second half of that ball game rolled around, you simply didn't have the personnel to compete with New Home.
Well, you didn't have the personnel. They had already kind of punched you. And, we kind of talked about what that second half, halftime meeting was. And it was probably just, hey, guys, let's fight. Let's finish this game. Let's try to stay healthy. Let's go out there and try to put some points on the board. Kind of knowing that, your quarterback, Xavier Camacho, comes in and hadn't probably taken snaps since junior high outside of practice.
And he's a senior.
And he's a senior, and that's a guy that he did what he needed to do, but you could just definitely tell that the offense, the playbook shrinks a little bit. You're not able to call the same type of plays, which is nothing against Xavier. He's a great athlete, but it's just one of those things.
Nobody that's thrown into that scenario. He did what he could, absolutely, but it just was kind of that situation, Chance, where we looked at each other at halftime and we're like,
yeah, what do you do?
You compete the best you can and chalk it up and try and figure things out this next week in practice because lots of football left, lots of district play left.
I will say, though, Ty, we talked about it. Before the injury, your team just felt kind of flat.
Yeah, they did.
Jagger struggled a little bit. He was probably putting a little bit of pressure on himself. And they just weren't able to get in sync. And so the injuries definitely did hurt, obviously, but you came out a little bit flat. You get stymied at the goal line where you could have made it a one-score game, and that kind of derailed you. And then after injury, it was kind of like, well, this is not going anywhere fast except getting bad in a hurry, and that's exactly what happened. But, I think Friday night, you're going to have to find some energy, and you're going to have some guys step up for sure. But also credit to New Home. They're a solid team. I will say that.
Yeah, and we can talk about all the excuses and reasons you lost. Probably the biggest reason you lost, New Home's really good.
Yeah.
And even healthy, it would have been a tough win to get on the road. But again, it's in the rearview mirror now. Yep. You chalk it up. You're 0-1 in district. You're kind of behind the 8 ball. We'll see how the Antelopes respond. You mentioned Camacho coming in, kind of finishing the game at quarterback. You got to credit his effort. Mm-hmm. New Home, they were led by Ryder Starkey, 98 rushing yards. And then Parker Lyles had 94 receiving yards, and Chance just kind of a dominant effort. And really in the second half, especially the fourth quarter, everybody was just kind of going through the motions.
Yeah.
New Home was kind of calling off the dogs a little bit, playing some reserves to their credit.
Yeah.
and you were just trying to get to the finish line. And honestly, and you can understand why, Chance, we were just playing gun shy.
Yeah.
I mean, every game we've had guys go down with somewhat serious to very serious injuries. Yep. And you can just sense the toll that was taking on our boys.
Yeah, it was kind of a perfect storm of all the adversity that you had battled through. It all kind of came and hit you all at once, to where it was like you overcame all these things. You start the game a little bit rough. Then you have all, back-to-back injuries, and you look up and you're thinking, man, we haven't played the best quarter and a half. You're down 3 of your top players that you needed. And like you said, it was just kind of silver lining. Let's get home. Let's try to stay healthy, and let's try to regroup coming into, like you said, plenty of district games coming up left. And, not only that, Ty, there was some other positives. Caden Bird, he had a decent game. 46 rushing yards, 28 receiving yards. And then your freshman, Aiden Villarreal, he was already having to start on defense. He stepped up. Most of your rushing yards came in the second half, but he had almost 30 rushing yards, but he just ran differently as well.
With more confidence.
Yeah, with more confidence. And that's something you're gonna have to see because with Bray going out, it's him and Malachi. There's going to be your 2 guys in the backfield most likely. We'll talk about it here as we do the preview, but some other things will come up. But he ran a little bit differently, and that's something that I look forward to seeing this next week as well.
And Chance, a couple of other district, as we kind of take a look around the district and some of the other results, a pretty surprising result, or a somewhat surprising result, down in Post. As a Post, I think a lot in the same kind of shoes Abernathy's in, trying to navigate some injuries and some different things. But they actually get upset on their home turf to begin district play as the New Deal Lions, who are coming in here on Friday, they knock off Post 34-20 in the district opener there. And so that's a huge win for the New Deal Lions. And then Chance Olton, they go on the road to Floydada, and they blow past the Whirlwinds 56-0.
The 56-0, they didn't cover the spread, but they did get a big one. And we joke about it, like I said.
They're 77-point dogs this weekend.
They definitely are, but that New Deal post game definitely was an eye-opener. I think it was kind of a similar situation. And we talked about this coming to the season, and, New Deal was in the same scenario that Abernathy's in right now. They had a ton of injuries coming into district play, weren't healthy, had been beaten up, and they come into district kind of licking their wounds. And, now we're feeling some of that, where we went in to New Deal last year knowing, okay, they're down their quarterback, they're down their 2 top guys. And so the roles have kind of been reversed here as you go into the second district ball game time.
And so, Chance, we will take one more timeout here on the program. We will come back and we will preview the New Deal Lions and take a look at what's coming up in district play this weekend. And like we always like to do, we'll make some predictions as well. I think we kind of failed miserably on Friday, but we'll try and make up for that this week. But let's take one more timeout, and we'll be back here live from Code 3 Soda Shop and Meat Market on the Abernathy Antelope Sports Network. Buying a car can be daunting, but not if you let your friends at the South Plains Auto Ranch help you with the process. Offering great deals and in-house financing on used cars, Austin and his team need to be your first call when you are looking for a new ride. Come see us on the south end of town today, or give us a call at 806-298-2200. South Plains Auto Ranch is a proud supporter of the Antelopes and Lady Lopes, and wish them the best of luck. As one of Abernathy's longest-standing institutions, First State Bank is proud to meet a full scale of banking needs in Abernathy and the surrounding areas. We are family-owned and operated, and have been for many years. We are the people you see at the grocery store and go to church with, and we pride ourselves on being your friend in the banking business. Come see us today. We are wishing the Lopes and the Lady Lopes much success this season. And Ty Horsford, Chance Rocha, welcome back here to Code 3 tonight, Soda Shop and Meat Market. Code 3, a proud supporter of the Antelopes and Lady Lopes, and we're excited to be out here tonight until 7 o'clock as we kind of finish up our program here. We're going to preview the New Deal Lions and kind of preview what's ahead in district play for the football side of things, Chance. And 1 week in, we said we would know a lot at the end of 1 week. We do and we don't all at the same time. There were some surprising results that we've already talked about. So looking at the early district standings, you've got number 9, New Home. They actually vaulted into the top 10, moved up about 9 spots in the rankings this week. They are 1-0 along with New Deal, who is number 38. They broke into the top 40 in the state. And then you've got the Olton Mustangs, who are also 1-0. And you've got 2 teams ranked in the 30s, according to the computers. Number 31 Post, number 36 Abernathy. They both drop pretty drastically. They're 0-1, and then the Floydada Whirlwinds also 0-1 in district play. And so things will continue to take shape, but at least on the Abernathy side of things, you got to find a way to put some wins together.
You got to find a way to put wins together, Ty. And I think, from me and my perspective, obviously the computers can say whatever rankings they want. Olton's not even ranked as high as Abernathy, and they blew out Floydada, but that just goes competition and all those kind of things. And I think that, you still got to line up and play them on Fridays. That's the biggest deal. And, we talked about it off the air. You got some big games coming up this week to where you go to New Deal, you beat New Deal, somebody beats New Home. You could have a three-way topsy-turvy tie thing happening with district play, but we always talk about it. You got to control what you can control, and that's the team that's coming up ahead of you, and like the New Deal Lions coming to Abernathy this week.
And so let's talk a little bit, Chance, about the New Deal Lions. Like you, they come in with a 3-2 record overall with a no contest. They kind of had their season opener weathered out as well. They were supposed to play Farwell that night and didn't get very far into that ball game. They opened their district with the upset win, as we mentioned, on Friday against Post, 34-20. In addition to that, Chance, they've got wins over the Roosevelt Eagles, 35-14, and the Sundown Roughnecks, 41-12. Their losses have been to Slayton, a good Slayton team, 35-7, and a good Lubbock Christian High School team, 43-0. And so, Chance, they really haven't played many close ball games.
Yeah, they've either blown somebody out or they've gotten blown out. And those 2 losses, Ty, are against great competition. A Slayton team which it's funny when you look at it on paper, and we talk about matchups matter. When you go head-to-head, Post beats Slayton, but Slayton pummels New Deal. And so
you just never can tell.
You never can tell. But at the end of the day, like I said, records kind of don't matter once you get into district play. It's whoever's healthy, whoever comes out and puts it to battle on Friday night. So the Lions will come in tight. They're pretty balanced as far as yards per game, rushing and passing. They're just around 105 yards per game passing, and then about 140 yards rushing a game. But they tend to lean to the rushing side as far as
unless they have to pass.
Unless they have to pass. And Dallas Sumner, I believe he's a senior this year. This is his 4th year starting. You didn't see much of him last year because he was injured, but he's a guy who's capable. He has a lot of snaps under center. And again, last year they struggled a lot due to injuries. This year they're coming in pretty healthy. And a team that's definitely, quote unquote, probably going on a revenge tour. They missed the playoffs for the first time in almost 20 years. The New Deal Lions did, or over 20 years, I would probably say. And they're probably looking to kind of bite back and make a run for a district title.
Absolutely, and they're playing some good football right now as well. As you take a look at some of the players to watch for the Lions, Chance, you mentioned it, their 4-year starting quarterback, Dallas Sumner. He's a capable passer, 49 of 100 on the season, so right at 50% completion rate, 605 yards. But Chance, he does make mistakes if you put some pressure on him. 6 touchdown passes, but also 6 interceptions on the season. He had a big game against Post, though, I think, and that's why I say that they throw when they have to. 13 of 23, 182 yards. And a couple of touchdowns. He also rushed 16 times for 118 yards against the Bold Gold. So, Chance, he's kind of a dual threat quarterback. He will throw it, but he can also run.
Yeah, Big kid, very, very capable. He stands big and tall in the pocket there. I would say similar to Jagger, maybe a little bit taller, but a big, tall, physical kid, and Dallas Sumner. And, you mentioned it before. He will make mistakes. He did have, those 2 touchdown passes against Post, but he also threw 2 interceptions. So when that situation does occur, especially against you, you want to take advantage of those mistakes that he may make. And their leading running back is Jonas Rodriguez. He has 65 carries for 427 yards. Average just over 70 yards per game, and he has 4 touchdowns. Out of those 65, 23 of those came Friday against
Big
Post.
night against Post.
23 for 141, and he had a touchdown in that game as well.
You also got receiver on offense, linebacker on defense, Dalton Martin. You'll hear his name a lot. He leads the Lions in tackles, but he also had a big game against Post that kind of padded his stats on the season a little bit. For the year, Martin, 14 catches, 189 yards, and 3 touchdowns. But he also leads the area, or one of the leaders in the area, with 104 tackles, 11 of those tackles for losses. But you mentioned the big game against Post, Chance, 9 catches, 123, and a couple of touchdowns, and 17 tackles against Post. He was all over the field. And so those 3 guys right there, Chance, they stepped up into big-time roles to kind of help the Lions pull that upset on Friday.
Yeah, they for sure did. And I think Dalton Martin, he's a kid that he's led them on defense all year long. And, 14 catches on the season, and 9 of those came this past week. 3 touchdowns, and 2 of them came this past week. So just looking at those numbers right there, Ty, that just tells you how much he stepped up on the offensive side, and a guy that they're probably going to lean on. But I think things are going to start with their quarterback, Dallas Sumner, and Jonas Rodriguez, and kind of go from there. But just look for Dalton's name to be called a ton on the defensive side for sure.
Okay, let's talk injuries, Chance. Obviously, that's the name of the game right now for the Abernathy Antelopes. We mentioned, as we were kind of talking about last week's ball game, we mentioned the 3 key injuries. We're not even talking about the ones that have already happened. I mean, I think you finished the ball game on Friday night with 17 players on your sideline, and 11 of those on the field at a time. That leaves a pretty short bench, Chance. But at least the ones from Friday. Jagger Wiley, your quarterback, we've talked about him, Chance. He's been a leader all season long. He's played hard. He's kind of been the heartbeat of this team. And honestly, he goes down. He separates his shoulder, has a pretty serious shoulder injury. I believe it's his non-throwing arm. Our immediate thought is,
oh, no.
If he comes back.
Oh, my immediate thought was, oh, no.
Well, actually, I can't say on the air what my immediate thought was. It was a version of oh no.
Yes.
But then your second thought is kind of like,
how long?
This is probably 2-3 season-ending type injury is kind of what we were afraid of. And it still may turn into a lengthy. We don't know. However, I can tell you Jagger is doing everything he can to be on the field Friday night when New Deal comes to town. I know he's going through lots of therapy and some different recovery type procedures and things this week and Chance, that's what this team needs right now. They need a heartbeat that's willing to be tough and fight and show heart. And Jagger's doing that. I don't know if he'll play Friday or not, but I tell you what, he's doing everything he can to be out there.
Well, he definitely is, and like you talked about that, he feels the importance of it. He wants to be out there as the leader for his team. He knows what his team has gone through this year, and so I think that he just wanting to fight that grit and that toughness. And I'm sure it's just one of those things, as a high school football player, you only get so many opportunities.
Yep, absolutely.
And so if he can be out there on the field, I'm sure he's going to be, obviously with knowing that the training staff, the coaches, his parents are going to make sure that he's healthy, and it's not going to be anything that's going to create any more lengthy things, because he could come out and it's like, hey, if you said a week, you could probably finish and be fine. But if you play and you hurt it again, it could be a 2 or 3 or 4 week deal. And so, we'll see on Friday night. It'll be a game time decision. But
what you love about him, he's not just kind of sitting on the side and waiting for it to heal. He's doing everything he can
proactive
to get back out there.
For sure. And Ryan Hill's another guy that has
good news with him.
Yeah, good news with him. like you said, lower leg injury, but likely should be good to go. May not be 100%, but he's going to be a guy that's for sure going to be playing. He's practicing this week. And then Braylon Stafford, likely going to be out this week, possibly 2 weeks. I know with that fracture, sometimes they have to cast it, they surgery, whatever it may be, but likely going to be out this week, but hopefully be back the following week. He will. So with that being said, Ty, you're going to have to move guys up from JV. I mean, you can't play a varsity game.
You've got to have guys, whether they have experience or not, or you think they're ready or not. You've got to have the guys.
You do, and I think part of that is, you said, I think you start the season with 27 guys on your varsity roster, and you're down to 17,
16 to 17. Yeah,
and that's just kind of like just
unlike anything I've seen.
Yeah,
it's wild.
And with the majority of those happening in the first 3 weeks, I mean, you can have some of that where you have guys that are out from week to week, but
we talked about, if you'll remember, in the first our season preview show and different things, we talked about one of the keys to this team was stay healthy.
Yeah,
and we're experiencing that firsthand.
Yep, it was to stay healthy, but then it was also like, oh, you have so much depth at the skill position. And then all 4 of your sophomore skill players have season-ending injuries.
Today I'm talking to you, and you get it to your playmakers.
Yeah. And you still
we have playmakers. That's not, but just the ones you expected to be those go-to guys.
For sure. And so some of those guys are getting moved up. I believe you have Cutter Johnson is going to be one of them. That's whether he takes snaps. I know he's taking snaps at quarterback. If Jagger plays, we don't know if it's going to be Jagger, if it's going to be Xavier, if it's
Cutter, or somebody else.
Or someone else. But you also, I think they realized when Jagger did go down, they're thinking, well, if Xavier goes down, you don't have somebody that's capable of running that similar offense probably that's not experienced. And, we talked about this. You have Xavier who has the varsity experience at the quarterback position, but you have Cutter who has the quarterback experience.
And lots of athletic ability.
Yes, but also he doesn't have the ability to play. He hasn't played on varsity. He doesn't know what that game speed looks like. He's kind of been battle tested on the JV. They've had some big wins. They've had some tough losses. But I think it's one of those things that whether he plays a ton or not, or he's out there, I think he's going to come in hungry regardless, as well as those other guys that they move up from JV. I think that they're just going to come in with some hunger and some want to play, but also making sure that, hey, know your role. Keep your assignments.
Don't try and do too much.
Don't try to do too much.
You're not here to carry the team.
Yes.
You're here to fill some holes and just kind of keep this ship trugging.
But I will say this, and as a caveat, we saw this happen last year. To add some depth, you move up a Colt Micheletti, and what happened?
Yeah, absolutely.
He jumped on the scene like
absolutely,
like he was shot out of a cannon.
And then he got hurt, and we lost.
Hey, but it's one of those things.
But yes, absolutely,
that did happen, and so I think that, as we move on, we can kind of talk about, our MC master in construction, our keys to the game, Ty. You're going to have to find consistency at the quarterback position, whoever that may be. I think that's going to start there because that's going to be your leader on the offense. It's going to set the tone for Friday night for sure. So
yeah, absolutely. Got to have consistency at that quarterback position no matter who's playing it. And then kind of chance with the hand that's been dealt to the Antelopes. It's likely going to come down to heart and effort. And I know that's kind of a
coach speak.
But we talked about it from Jagger. Yeah. You're going to have guys step up and just want it. And you're going to have to want it more than New Deal. And you did not want it more than New Home. No. And I don't say that. There was a lot that played into that.
Sure.
I don't say that to be Debbie Downer or negative. But you're going to have to want it, and you're going to really have to play above yourself the rest of the year. And that's going to be a big factor on, I feel like, how this season finishes up for the Antelopes. And then, Chance, we talked about it. You had a couple of opportunities against New Home early in that game that could have maybe swung the momentum in your favor. But you may not get that many opportunities, and so you're going to have to capitalize when you do. If you have 4th and goal from the 3, you're going to have to punch it in. If you do force a turnover deep in New Deal territory, you're going to have to capitalize and turn it into points, things like that.
Yeah, because you talked about that against New Home. You get stymied at the goal line. That could have changed the tide of the game. Then you stop them big on the
get a fumble.
Get a fumble. Or first you stop them when they punt it, and then you line up and you give it right back. But then you get the fumble, and the next play you throw an interception in the end zone. So it was just, you did something good, something bad happened. You did something good, something bad happened. And I think part of that's, like you said, just capitalizing when you need to. And I think regardless of who you have at the quarterback position, the number one goal is going to be protect the football. Because you can't hurt yourself, especially when you're down that many guys. You just can't put yourself in a situation where you're playing from behind, because that's kind of what happened against New Home. Once you got down 18, you could think, okay, maybe we still have a shot. But once they punched it in, you were down 25-0 at halftime and down 3 players. It just looked like there was no way to come back. And you can't put yourself in that position against a healthy and a hungry New Deal Lion team that's coming in on Friday.
And, Chance, let's talk other matchups in district and talk some predictions as well. You've got Floydada going on the road to New Home, and that'll be another district ball games. Man. You're giving Floydada some credit here. I've got the Leopards by 60+.
Yeah, I think that just from seeing what New Home did with us, kind of that respect factor. The fourth quarter, they put in a lot of their backups, their backup quarterback. I think you're going to see some of that against Floydada. I think New Home's going to jump out fast, quick, and in a hurry early. It'll probably be 35, maybe 40-0 at halftime. But I think they'll probably kind of call it off a little bit, and they may win 48-0. It could be more, but the spread's like 77. But
surely they won't cover that.
And
they might. Who knows?
At some point, New Home had another game earlier this season, and typically you don't see this in district ball games because of stats and other things, but they ran the clock in some games from the third quarter on, and you may see some of that against a Floydada team that's just having a tough year. And, tough year for the Whirlwinds. I don't know if they'll be able to turn it around and get a W or even score a touchdown in district play, but I say all that, and they could come out here and, we have to go to Floydada.
They might beat somebody. Who knows?
They could, because that's why you line up and play them. But just from what we've seen, I think New Home's going to run away with it for sure. So,
and then, Chance, maybe a game that's a little more intriguing than what it once was. The Post Antelopes go on the road, and they're going to play an Olton team that's playing with some confidence right now. They have the big, almost 60-point win against Floydada on the road.
That's back-to-back wins.
To begin district play. They've won 2 in a row. They've outscored their opponents the last 2 games, I think, by a combined 80-0, as they shut out Vega a couple of weeks ago as well. They're coming in playing with some confidence. In Post, they're kind of like you. You're reeling a little bit. And what Post team are you going to get? And can Olton take advantage and pull an upset at home?
Yeah, I think they can. I think they can, but I think Post is probably going to bounce back. I think it'll be close, though. I think you have an Olton team that's capable of scoring points, and so I think it'll be – and Post has given up points. I will say that, too. But I think Post is going to kind of rally and get back in the win column and win this one 30-24.
I've got 24-14, tied, falling the same way. The Bold Gold getting a road win in district play to even their district record at 1-1. And Chance, we obviously talked a lot about the Lions and the Antelopes. Potential for a letdown game for New Deal, maybe. They're obviously coming in with all sorts of momentum, and you're kind of coming in with no momentum. But it's funny how those things kind of play out sometimes, and I think the way this game starts is going to be really key.
For sure.
I think if you start well, you start with some momentum, you find a way to get some points early, maybe you can ride that wave. If New Deal comes out and hits you in the mouth and you don't respond pretty quick, it could be another long night at Antelope Stadium. Time will absolutely tell. I think this could be a close game. My heart says it's going to be a close game and that I want it to be a close game. And I'm going to go with the Antelopes, kind of digging down deep and finding something. I think this is going to be one that goes down to the last minute or two. And I've got the Antelopes in the rivalry matchup, somehow pulling out a 21-20 victory over the New Deal Lions.
I kind of feel the same way as you, Ty. I think setting the tone early. You're kind of defending home field. again, playing against the grain, fighting some adversity, maybe some energy from some guys that are stepping up. Maybe you have a Jagger Wiley that's able to battle through and able to start the game and kind of bring some energy with that, or you have somebody come up from JV that steps up and kind of brings some energy with them as well. But I think that if you are able to kind of contain that New Deal line rushing attack, kind of control the line of scrimmage a little bit, and make some plays when you need to make them. If you start off hot, I think you stay hot and you get a stop down the road, and I think we're going to come out on top 28-20. So,
Chance, your homerism is rubbing off on me over here. I like it.
I got to make it happen.
Your positivity. No, I like it. And so hopefully time will tell. The Antelopes and the Lions coming your way Friday night, 7 o'clock. In front of a home crowd at Antelope Stadium. It feels like it's been a while since we've been at home, so it'll be good to be back home. We'll have the broadcast for you beginning at 6:45 with our pregame show. 7 o'clock kickoff. Should be a beautiful night. I promise. Well, I can't promise, but I can almost promise that there will be no pocket knives thrown onto the field during the course of the ball game. There might be one dropped that gets found later or something. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out.
I bet it's going to be a packed house with the Little Lopes being able to run out of the tunnel. So if you're going to the game, better get there early.
Yeah, absolutely. Chances we kind of put the wraps on this week's show. We will be back at it next Wednesday night, 8 p.m. For Outside the Box. We're going to actually sit down this next week with a couple of our elementary administrators, Miss Joanna Fullingham, along with Miss Kaylee Sterner, our principal and AP at the elementary campus, and we'll talk about all the exciting things they've got going on their campus. We're going to obviously talk football. We're going to talk district play. We said it last week, but even more so, the district will begin to take shape, and we'll kind of know what we're looking at.
The region as well.
The region will take shape. We'll take a look around AISD. We'll talk UIL band competition along with some cross-country results. Hopefully we're talking about some state qualifiers next Wednesday, and so it'll be a jam-packed show next Wednesday night, 8 p.m., as we will be back in the friendly confines of Ty and Chance's Playroom, and a.k.a. the Outside the Box Studios.
Oh, that's funny. So, yeah, shout out to Code 3 for hosting us again tonight, and they still got time if you want to come get those drinks. Like we talked about that competition between New Deal and Abernathy. If you want to order the New Deal drink or if you want to order the Abernathy drink to kind of have that competition, whatever side wins, they will draw from that bucket to win a steak box by Code 3, and then half of the proceeds will go to the Julian Boone Effect, to that foundation for parents who are wanting to adopt. And so just a great little competition they're doing here, so they got time for the rest of the week if you want to do that, to kind of, like I said, get started on that competition before it hits here on Friday night as the Lions come to Antelope Field.
Until then, good night.
God bless.
And go Lopes.